Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Rochelle and today what we have is actually a little bit of a book haul. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, I did mention at the beginning of the year that I wasn't going to be doing any more book hauls, at least not book hauls that I purchased with my own money. However, it was Indie Bookstore Day last month, and this was an event that I really wanted to go and help support. However, I had some wedding plans that were happening, and unfortunately, I just couldn't go and actually visit a local indie bookstore physically. So instead what I did was I purchased some books from bookshop.org. This is not sponsored. This is just a place that I really like to help support, especially if there's bookstores in different states that might need a little bit extra help or anything like that. I do have an affiliate link down below, but I think my link actually goes and supports an indie bookstore and not myself. This does not go and charge anything extra for you. It just goes and gives a tiny amount of proceeds from your order to the bookstore that you're choosing to go and support. So that's a little disclaimer there, but yeah, I have a small little book haul that I did with my own money, and I did go and choose to support a local indie bookstore to Colorado. It's one that I really like. They're called the Band Book Wagon, I believe, if my memory is correct. My brain's been a little bit frazzled today, so I apologize. I usually end up going and supporting them, and I have a few books here in this pile that I'm so excited to go over with you all. One, though, I'm gonna go over first is actually one that was a pre-order from, I think, like last year potentially, and it was also supporting an indie bookstore, but it did go and arrive last month, and I just felt like I should go and talk about this one. So it is The Impossible Garden of Clara Thorne by Summer in England. So the person that actually wrote this book is someone that I followed on TikTok. She has this really cute TikTok channel where she goes and just does hobbity type of things, and she's very eccentric and talks about some religious trauma, as well as going and creating her own little homestead. She's just such a fun person to go and watch. And I knew that she was working on writing books. She also does theater too, so I know there's some theater people here that watch my channel. So also just a little plug for her as well. But I heard she was writing this book and automatically I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and put it on my list. But then I heard it was sapphic as well, and there's also a cute little hedgehog here, which, I mean, sign me up. I absolutely love hedgehogs. And just in case if you aren't sure who Summer England is, there's a little image here. But this says, most stories end with a happily ever after, but mine, well, it begins with one. After a lonely childhood, Clara Thorne is comfortably settled as this magically gifted gardener for the town of Moss. Sure, her closest companion is a surly hedgehog, and she's forever stuck on the first line of her novel, but she has a home. That is until the goddess chooses Clara for an important quest: travel to the cursed town of Dwindle and grow them a garden. In less than a month. Only Claire is hiding a terrible secret. Her magic doesn't work outside Moss. Worse, the goddess has assigned the absurdly sexy, annoyingly cheerful Hesper Attenfall to keep her safe. Clara would rather eat thorns than accept help, especially since Hesper insists that Clara's magic is bound to her heart, not her home. This just sounds so cute and cozy, and I've been so excited for this book. So I finally have a copy of it, and I'm very excited to read it. I don't know if I'm gonna read it just yet, or if I might save it for the fall, because I feel like the fall time is really when I want to curl up with a cozy read. Now the books that I specifically bought to support Indie Bookstore Day. The first one we're gonna go over is By the Orchid and the Owl by Mariah Montoya. This one was one that was brought to my attention by a book talker slash booktuber that I actually trust her opinion more than anything on books. Any book that she has talked about loving, as soon as I read it, it's usually always a very, very highly rated book. So when I heard how much she loved this one, I was like, okay, sign me up. It says, on the island of Eshol, a ruling council gifts magic to all its citizens, whether they want it or not. 18-year-old Raya Dre should be excited for her branding, when the island's good council will infuse her blood with one of 5 sanctioned magics: the ability to wield elements, summon objects, shift forms, talk to wildlife, or manipulate minds. The good council is good, the branding doesn't hurt, and the institution she must attend afterward to learn how to control her new gift is only a little dangerous. I've heard really good things about this book from Bree, and I'll go and link Bree's information down below, but I remember her raving about this book, and I think there might be animal companions in it potentially, so it just checked off a bunch of different things that I do really enjoy, especially with fantasy, so I can't wait to check this one out. This is also an indie author as well. Then the next one I have here is The Shuddering by Anaya Alburn. And this was one that I was really drawn in by the cover, but also just for the information on the back. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It says, they only come when it snows and nobody ever gets away. A group of close friends gathers at a secluded cabin in the wintry mountains of Colorado for a final holiday hurrah. Instead, it may be their last stand. First, a massive blizzard leaves them marooned. Then the more chilling realization. Something is lurking in the woods, watching them, waiting. Now a weekend of family, friends, and fun has turned into a test of love and loyalty in the face of inhuman horrors. The only hope for those huddled inside is to fight tooth and nail, bullet and blade for their lives. Otherwise, they'll end up like the monster's other victims, bright pools of blood on glittering snow, screams lost in the vast mountains. I've been in such an apocalyptic mood, just with different types of creatures that kind of lurk in the dark. I really am just having this itch to read anything apocalyptic, whether or not it does have zombies or it's an entirely different type of apocalyptic setting. I don't know what it is, but I'm just in the mood to read those kind of books. So this is one that is on the top of my list to read. Then the next one we have here is Rising, a State of the Union novel by Nell Nicole. Hopefully I'm saying that name right. This is also another indie author, and this book has been one that I've had on my wish list for the longest time. So when bookshop.org was having their indie bookstore sale, they had free shipping on all of your orders, and I was like, score, sign me up. I'm gonna actually go and finally purchase this book. So it says, Rising, the before doesn't matter, only the after. In a post-apocalyptic Earth ravaged by nuclear war, humanity struggles to survive amidst the aftermath of radiation that has altered their DNA. Amongst the survivors, elemental magic runs through their veins, while a select few have developed extraordinary powers. Amaya is a fierce leader in the Compound, a powerful community in Monterey, California, that's been fighting to defend its borders against a series of attacks from the undead. But when her partner is tragically killed in an explosion, Amaya is consumed by a burning desire for vengeance. So this is kind of like The Walking Dead, but with magic, and I'm so intrigued. I remember seeing character art for the characters in the book, and I was just like, oh, okay, sign me up. So I'm excited for this one. I want to say there's at least 3 or 4 books in the series, so that's something that also excites me, because if I really love this book, then I don't have to be sad about the world just ending, and I have more stories to continue. So I'm really excited for this. Then the next one I have here is Climate of Chaos by Cassandra Newbold, I think. And it seems like it might be in Seattle, potentially. That's at least what I'm gathering from this image. So this is an exhilarating dystopia recalling The Last of Us and Divergent. In dystopic Seattle, so I was right, storms have devastated Earth's population. A new virus is spreading and the privileged live inside domes controlled by Aegis Corp. Healthcare is earned by hours accrued working in Aegis's pharmaceutical factories. If you run short on hours, you're sent to Harvest House for debt collection, a place from which no one returns. After Storm killed 17-year-old Fox LaRosa's parents and left her disabled, Fox and her younger sister, Rabbit, joined their fugitive aunt's mercenary group Still Alive. Their mission is to restore the imbalance of medical access for post-storm survivors. Ooh. So I want to say that this book originally popped up when I was doing a search just for disabled characters, especially main characters. So this was one that intrigued me because it seems like a main character is disabled, but also because it's kind of like in this dystopian apocalyptic world. So this definitely seems like something that is especially up my radar because there's disability representation, but also an apocalypse or dystopian setting, and oh, I feel like there's not too many books that could just scream like, hey, Rochelle, read this, but this is a book that probably does just that. And then a last book that I have is Heart Still Beating by Brooke Archer. It says, the world ended, love did not. Honestly, one of the huge things that attracted me to this book is I just love the cover. I think it's so beautiful. I'm also guilty of loving books that have nature aspects on the cover. Something just always attracts me to it, and I don't know if it's just because I love Poison Ivy comics, especially because of Poison Ivy and her character in general. Maybe it's because of that, but let's talk about this one. So this one says, Mara is dead, mostly, infected with a virus that broke the world and turned her into a monster. Mara awakes in a facility to learn a treatment has been found. No longer dangerous, she is placed in an experimental program, sent to live with a best friend she hasn't seen since civilization collapsed, since their first and only kiss. Rory is alive. Barely. Her nightmares are as vicious as the monsters that permanently injured her and turned Mara. Even after the island, one of the surviving communities rebuilds itself. Rory fears an attack at any time, but the monsters that show up are medicated and almost normal, not quite themselves, but no longer gruesome killers, and among them is the first girl Rory ever loved. Ooh, okay, so this one could possibly be a sapphic one, which is really exciting. But yeah, this one might not necessarily be 100% in the direction of what I really like to read, especially if the monsters referred to in this book are zombies. I'm really particular with my zombies. Warm Bodies was an exception because that one was kind of enjoyable for me, but that's not usually the type of zombie that I'm always gravitating towards. I prefer stuff that's a little bit more like World War Z, The Walking Dead, I Am Legend, stuff like that. I kind of align more with those type of zombie stories, but I am really intrigued, and this one isn't too thick of a book. It also is really satisfying with like how it sits in your hand. It's just really easy to like flip through the pages. It's very floppy, and I feel like whenever a book is not floppy and they're a paperback, it's kind of a crime, not gonna lie. So these were all the books that I got. I got 5 from Indie Bookstore Day, and then another one that was technically not from Indie Bookstore Day, but was purchased from an indie bookstore. So technically 6 books in this pile, but I'm excited for all of them. As you can tell, I'm definitely in just this weird survival mood. So I will 100% be doing a vlog where I'm doing specifically those type of books and talking about them. And I hope you're excited for that. If you are, maybe go and put some zombies in the comments just in case if you don't really know what to go and talk about but want to show that you are here and supporting my channel. If you have read any of these books that I've talked about, please let me know down in the comments below because I want to know like which one you really loved and want me to pick up right away. That might sway me a little bit because I'm a bit indecisive and don't always know which book to read first. But I hope you enjoyed this video and didn't mind me doing a kind of break of my book buying ban because I didn't really want to buy books unless it fit specific criteria. But I think that going and supporting an indie bookstore is okay when it comes to going and breaking a book buying ban, and I don't really know too many people that would disagree with that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, possibly going and subscribing, also hyping up my channel because that helps point people to my channel on this tiny corner of the internet. And as always, I like to wrap up my videos with this little reminder to always remember that you're worthy and capable of amazing things. Bye, friends. And choose to support. Bless you. She's a very hydrated baby. Oh no, you're gonna drip water all over me. And you got it all over your face too. Yeah. Are you hydrated? Are you hydrated? Yeah. Yeah. You got water everywhere. But you're cute. She's embarrassed. She doesn't want to look at me. These were all the books.